This is for all my visionaries and all my creators out there. Anyone who's attempting to build something, move something forward, have a game plan, something that they're trying to create, doesn't matter what it is. We all know the saying, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to make the team work to make the dream work. So let me explain that. First and foremost, if you are attempting to build something, if you're attempting to create something, push something forward, or change yourself, most people that you're gonna have to really keep your eye upon is gonna be the ones that are closest to you. So that's gonna be in a twofold fashion. One, you're gonna have people that will resist what you're doing. So they either won't wanna be a part of it or they're gonna resist you creating it and pushing it forward. Sometimes they're just gonna resist helping it or pushing it forward or believing in it. And other times they're gonna just push back on it. They're gonna do everything that they can to stop it from happening. Believe it or not, there are many people that are around you right now that are just like that. And sometimes, sometimes it's your mom. Sometimes it's your best friends. Now, there's two reasons for this. One is the easy one that most people know and understand right off the bat, right? If you are building something with yourself, it is very difficult for other people to witness someone doing something for themselves. Very difficult for most people. Now, that's where haters come from. But when it's somebody within your own circle, man, that makes it harder, right? Because they do not want to see you leave them behind. And not because they love you so much. That's not the case. They don't want to be reminded that they could have done something with themselves and that they didn't. You're a reminder of their inadequacy if you're pushing forward, even if you're not being successful in it at this time. Now, they may secretly, exalt in their failures, but they know deep down that if you don't stop, eventually you're most likely gonna make it, and then that's gonna make them feel worse. So that is the truth. It is very difficult for many people to see someone else doing something with themselves, whether they know you or whether they don't, but when they don't, it makes it more difficult. The other side of that is, man, when it's like someone that's super close to you, and let's say it's your mom, man, that's gonna hurt, right? That's not gonna feel good. But it's not so much that either your mom, your best friend, your sister, any of those people, they may not truly want you to fail per se. They may not. But it is probably very difficult for them to see you as the person that you are or are what you are trying to become versus the person that they've always known. Because those are vastly different, especially when you're trying to grow, produce, create, build something, move forward, any of those things, you're naturally transitioning into a new and different person. And most likely the person that came up with the idea to put this forward is already a different person than the one that they think that they know. So it's very difficult for them to think of you in those terms. Now, when you get there, that will change. But before you get there, that's gonna be the case. So you're gonna have to moderate. You're gonna have to filter the people that you are allowing to give you information on whatever it is that you're building. So sometimes, if it's your mom, that's hard, right? That's very difficult because, that's your mom, that's your best friends, whoever it is. It's very difficult. So you want to make sure that whoever these people are, you're accepting criticism, because if you don't accept the criticism and allow it to come in for you, at least to think about it, to mull it over, to wonder if it's actually true, to put it through, a litmus test of some kind, then you can't grow, you can't get better, because feedback is important. But the other side of it is you can't let it go too deep. You can't let it go too far, because just because they don't believe in you, because they don't believe in it, because they don't see the vision, doesn't mean that it's not a good one to have. If you want it, if you really want it, you will make it happen. I can give you my word. Very difficult, very, very difficult to truly fail if you just won't give the fuck up. Right? So that's the way to think about it. If you're not willing to give up, you are most likely going to succeed at some point. So you have to be very careful about the people that you allow to come in and give you this feedback and how deep you let it go. Accept it so you can learn from it. Don't let it get too deep so that it'll make you stop. So that's on that level, right? But like I said, that's only some people are going to resist. Some people are going to jump on board. Some people are going to be all for it. They believe in you. They believe in your product. They believe in your vision. Even if they can't fully understand it, even if they can't fully see it, they believe in it, right? So they're like, oh, I want to be part of this. So there's two aspects to this, man. Now, some people are fortunate enough to be able to build really good teams from the beginning. I believe Eminem falls in that category. As far as I know, his closest team has been the same people for his entire career. Nipsey Hussle falls in that category. Unfortunately, he's gone, but his team seemed to be solid. They seem to all be working together, and they all played their part and played their part well. And regardless of what you think or feel about these individuals, so the moral implications aside, your personal opinions aside, man, the Tates have been able, they have a wonderful fucking team, and that's why they were able to do everything that they've done so far. So we can just go with the Tates for a couple of seconds. Andrew Tate, hands down, considered one of the greatest orators of our time. I can't. I mean, Barack Obama was good. I don't think he was as good as Andrew Tate. He's not as effective. He's great. So he's easily one of the greatest, if not the greatest orator of our time. And everybody knows who Andrew Tate is. The thing is, Andrew Tate isn't the reason Andrew Tate is famous. He's not. So we can go one step over, go to his brother, right? Notice his brother never fucking knocks him. His brother never knocks him. Never, never, never knocks him. Even when somebody else knocks Tristan in order to try to like get him to try to maybe trip up and say something, he never goes for it. He never goes for it. He will never knock his brother. So that's just a part of the team. The reason we all know who Andrew Tate is not because of either one of the Tate brothers. It's their cousin, Luke. Now, slowly over time, this information has been getting filtered out. But guess what? The one thing Luke has never done, tried to take credit. Now, the brainchild of their entire operation was Luke's. Andrew Tate is the centerpiece because he is a masterful orator. And he put in his time, obviously. He takes his ability to speak and speak well and eloquently. He takes it very seriously. He puts in the time. He's obviously practicing. I'm obviously learning new words consistently, figuring out how to put together new sentences so they're more effective. This man is very good at his job, at what he does, for sure. And he's got an excellent team of support around him. Like I said, Tristan will never knock him. Luke is the brainchild. Luke has never sought credit, not once has he ever sought credit. So these guys have an amazing team. And the reason we all know who Andrew Tate is isn't just because Andrew Tate, it's because of their entire team. So this is an instance of where teamwork makes the dream work. Unfortunately, guys, it's not always going to be this easy. We can move that to the side because most of us are not going to be that damn fortunate, unfortunately. There's the other side of it, where you have to make the team work to make the dream work. A very good person who you will hear me use this man a lot. This dude is underrated in our society at this time. Even though everybody loves him, everybody knows him, anybody who's ever put any effort into learning about him, all have an appreciation for who he is and what he's done, and that's 50 Cent. Oh man, 50 Cent is, by all accounts, even the people that don't like him, they've all said that this man is a workaholic. He is no joke. He is a one-man steam train. This dude just works, and does not stop. He also makes himself a formidable opponent in whatever he does. So this man is, everybody would equate the word of being perspicacity. I apologize. Everybody would equate the word perspicacity with Andrew Tate. Actually, the highest level of perspicacity of anybody that I've ever seen would be 50 Cent. That being said, let's go back to the topic at hand. 50 Cent created G-Unit. 50 Cent had to make G-Unit work. Now, he got lucky, man. He had Tony Yayo by his side, who has been, a loyal best friend. That's his best friend. Let's be real, right? He's been a loyal friend, a loyal soldier throughout this entire thing. But Tony Yayo wasn't the best out of them. Lloyd Banks was the best. Lloyd Banks, hands down, is just an amazing lyricist. Punchline Kings, what he calls himself. He was the best, but he's lazy. He was just lazy, and he has admitted it his own self. As far as I understand, he even has a tattoo that says Lazy Lloyd. But the dude is an amazing lyricist. Like, he really is just that damn good. And then you have people that, like Young Buck. The dude is just not financially sound. He doesn't think, the dude just makes bad decisions financially. This is obvious. If you look into anything about all these people, the things that I'm telling you are just gonna rise right to the top. You're gonna figure out that all these things are true really fast, really quick, really easy. And then you got people like Game. Game has no loyalty whatsoever to anyone. This dude has zero loyalty. This dude is one of the biggest clowns. Man, he should be at that. He should be in the topic. When you mention Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, the next name you should name would be The Game. He took himself out of that equation. That's his fault, but no loyalty. My point of this is 50 Cent had to wrangle all these people together, constantly try to keep control of them, which he said he couldn't. He's admitted that he could not keep control of these individuals, and try to push them to get everything to work. Now, this man put himself behind his crew in order for them to be successful. So when he dropped his album Get Rich or Die Trying, man, it sold something insane, like 15 million records worldwide. The record company was telling him that they wanted him to drop his next album, which is normal. If you look in anybody else's career, the lead man drops at least 2 albums before his crew comes on board. He refused to do that, man. He started putting out his entire crew and the G Unit group album out first before he did that. Then he came out with his album. So this man has done a lot for the people that he was attempting to use as a team. They just did not have the ability to work well as a team. That is just the case. So my point of this is, if you're fortunate and you're able to put together a really good team, man, just got to make sure that as the leader, as the creator, as the visionary, that you are making sure that everybody is working together, staying on top of their job and moving in the right direction. That's your job. If you are someone who is part of someone else's team, your job is merely just to listen and do as you're told and do it to the best of your ability. If you want to become a general at some point, you need to become a soldier who follows orders really well now, just so you know. That's the case. If you're on the other side, man, this is a very difficult place to be, and I'm definitely talking from experience. I've been on both sides of this account. If you have to where you have to make the team work to make the dream work, it's a difficult place to be in. The one thing that I will say is, as the person who's leading, the person with the vision, so you have to be just like 50 Cent. You cannot slow down. You cannot stop. You cannot let anything detract you from the overall goal, because people and things will do everything that they can, especially if your team is not all pulling their weight at the same time, going in the same direction. It's going to be more difficult, but you have to be just like that man. A one-man steam train just hauling ass, going the direction that you're going and pulling everybody with you to the best of your ability. If you're in this position, the one thing that you have to keep in mind, a lot of people that are going to try to get on board is because they want to work for you, because they just want to work for someone. So I love that saying. They're like, the failure of getting to the point where you just lock in is having to spend the rest of your life having to clock in. These are people that just are happy with clocking in. They don't really, they love the idea that they're being brought to success by somebody else, but they don't want to do that much work. They don't want to make that much sacrifice. They don't want to sacrifice that much. Whereas the person, it doesn't matter which one you look at, man, the people that are in the lead usually make the biggest sacrifices, but they're just not recognized by the other people. 50, like I said, put himself in a position to where he was putting his own career on the back burner in order to push his team forward. Man, that is a huge statement to his character. Tony Yayo was in prison for the beginning of their career as G Unit. 50 made sure that when he got out, he had a car, a nice car, a condo, a nice condo, and $1 million in the bank, so that he would operate on a level that was competitive with his crew, so he wouldn't have to feel like he was behind. This man was in prison for the beginning of it, got out and had $1 million waiting for him, plus a place in a car. That shows you how much this man was willing to do for the people on his team. He put his own career on the back burner. That is very abnormal. That is highly abnormal for somebody to do that. If he would have been Luke, like on this side with the Tates, if he would have had the ability to be Luke, and he's even said this once before, he wishes Yayo had been the huge star, because he would have been able to handle all the business. Man, I cannot imagine everything that this man would have been able to accomplish with the crew if they all been working together and he didn't have to be the front runner. So you have to just keep in mind, man, these people are willing to work for you because they're just willing to work for anybody. They just want to clock in for the rest of their lives. They say they want things, right? So you'll hear people all the time, oh, I want this kind of car. I want this much money. I want to live in this kind of place. I want to go on vacation all the time. I want to retire my parents. They're going to name all of these specific things, right? And then how much work per day do they put in making sure that they're making that happen? You want to retire your parents? That's great. That's wonderful. That sounds amazing. How many hours do you spend personally each day making sure that you're working towards retiring them? And this has to be on top of what you do that's a necessity. So we all have the necessities that we have to do. If you have a job, you got to get up, go clock in, go do your work, then get off work. That doesn't fucking count. That's what you are supposed to do. After that, unless that specific job is working directly to put you in a position where you can hire them, where you can retire them, then that is not the same thing. Afterwards, how many hours are you spending each day to make sure that you're retiring them? Or are you just saying that, but you don't really want it? Or are you working for someone else who's working to make the things happen and you're just kind of waiting for them to happen so you don't do as much work as you should? This is where most people are. So if you're a visionary, if you're a creator, if you're trying to push something forward, man, most likely you're going to have one of these two types of teams. And if you're extremely fortunate if you have this kind of team like the Tates, but most likely you're going to be in a position, especially in the beginning or when you're first starting your entrepreneurial career, or if you find yourself in a position where you're having to restart, you're going to have one that's more like these guys over here, where they're just all going their own directions. None of them pay really attention to what they're doing. They all got their fucking flaws that they're willing to let come to the forefront because they'd rather do the things that entertain them or make them feel good rather than doing the things that they should be doing in order to push their futures forward. So they're doing the things that are necessary. Well, I wrote the rap. I went to the studio. I got on the track. I showed up at the video shoot. But now, instead of being at the same place the 50 was at, he's in the board meeting, he's making phone calls, he's doing everything that he's got to do. These guys aren't doing that. They're letting him do all that, thinking that he's going to just keep dragging them with him for the rest of their lives. Oh, I don't got to make good financial decisions. 50's going to fucking bail me out over and over and over again. I don't got to do the extra work. 50's going to handle all that. I just got to tell rhymes. I don't gotta be loyal. That's the worst one. This fool didn't even think he had to be loyal. He's like, oh, I don't gotta be loyal. I'll make this work all on my own. He did not do that. As soon as he was outside the camp completely and fully, we don't really hear from him anymore. I listen to some of his music, but most of it is, none of it is on the same level as that first album. So my point is, visionaries, creators, I just wanna make sure that you guys understand, people are not going to have your best interests at heart when you are initially starting out. If you are fortunate enough to have a team like the Tates, regardless of your personal opinion about the Tates, you have to think in terms of what they are capable of making happen. I don't care what your personal problems are with them. I don't care what your personal opinions are with them. I don't care. This is completely moral conditions, like completely put aside. We're not thinking about the moral implications of any of the things that we're talking about because 50 sold drugs. 50, was out there in the streets. These guys were all in the streets. I'm not utilizing either side as being better as like a better example for society as a whole. I'm just using the examples for teamwork. The last one that you have to keep in mind, man, especially if you're going to be online in any shape, way, form, or fashion, or be in a position to where people have the ability to make known their quote unquote opinions about you or whatever you're doing. Man, don't let haters like detract from you, what you're doing, or any of those things. If somebody offers legitimate feedback and criticism, man, go ahead and take that in. But many people cannot stand to see someone else do something with themselves because they never will. So they are purely doing it because they're never going to do something with themselves. So my creators, my visionaries, my people that are trying to do something with themselves and do something with this world, my people that are truly trying to make the world a better place, trying to get themselves rich, trying to make an impact, or truly attempting to retire their parents. Number one, I wish you well on your journey. But number two, do not let anyone or anything detract you from your mission. I'll see you at the top.